Okay, so hear, O Israel, Yahawah our power, Yahawah is one, and you shall love Yahawah your power with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Yabarakakam Yahawah Bashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, Shemai Yasharallah, Yahawah Allahayna wa Yahawah Kad, wa Habda Afi Yahawah Allahayaka, Bakal Lababka, wa Bakal Napashka, wa Bakal Ma'atka. All right, so we're in the third day, Torah Parashah from Terumah, which is Exodus chapter 25, verse 31, through Exodus chapter 26, verse 14. We're dealing with gold, linen, textiles, and high-class designs by Yahawah. Okay, high-class designs by Yahawah. Now remember, the next new moon is going to be March 5th. From March 5th to March 6th, sunset to sunset. The first day of Passover is going to be April 18th to April 19th, sunset to sunset. And the last day of Passover is going to be April 24th to April 25th, sunset to sunset. So all praise to Yahawah, the almighty creator of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the creator of Israel, Yasharallah. I would like to also give praise to Yahawah for his son Yahawah Shai, who is the sacrifice for our sins, who is a dark brown skinned man in the same family of the people that were already in the Americas. All right, the people that already came, that were first in the Americas when the European Gentiles got here, as well as the brethren of the people that were brought to the Americas on cargo slave ships. And there's a very specific reason, okay, why I'm wearing the type of clothing that I have on now. And we're going to go into this as we start to read more of the scriptures, you know, dealing with the tabernacle. We're going to deal with linen. We're going to deal with high value dyes. Okay, we're going to deal with different techniques, jacquard, embroidery. We're going to deal with brocades. Okay, brocade type of textile union work, joining together things. Also, we're going to deal with gold and the fashioning of gold, you know, things of that nature. So we just have a lot of information that we're going to be, you know, bringing out in terms of the, you know, in terms of the scriptures, and going into some specifics about how Yahawah wanted things done and how we're supposed to, you know, be doing things. Am I right? Am I okay? All right. All right. And how we're supposed to be doing things. So first, we're going to start off in Exodus chapter 25, verse 31. And also, as we get started, I really want to apologize because I spent so much time just looking at these scriptures, you know, about this Torah portion and the technical aspect of it that, you know, I have to admit I got kind of lost in the text. I got kind of lost and engrossed in the text. I got lost in the wording of it. And as I really started to think and meditate, and wisdom started to reveal to me so many different things from such simple words. And now, you know, she, the spirit of wisdom, through Yahawah Shai and Yahawah, the creator, wants me to share these things with you. So now you can have an inside scoop on what's really going on behind the scenes and the words that we're going to read in this particular Torah portion. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with Exodus chapter 25, And we're going to start from verse 31, okay? Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 25, verse 31.
Uh-huh.
And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold.
So a candlestick of pure gold. Now, when it says candlestick, it's really not a candlestick. It's a lamp. All right, it's a lamp, which is this word right here. Manawa Ra. All right, which comes from the word Yahawah, which you can see right here. It means that which gives light, that which is lit, and that which gives light. So this is the word we see for candlestick, which is a menorah. All right, which is a menorah. And if you're not familiar, let me get the thing. Let me get have somebody bring the menorah up from the first floor, and then give me the menorah right here also, inside there, the little on the shelf right here. The shelf right here. Try and get it from me. No, on the shelf right there. So this is just an example of the candlestick that that we're reading about. This is an example of the candlestick that we're reading about. All right. So this is the candlestick that we have inside the temple. All right. Now that one has actually been used for oil. And here's another example of the candlestick that the scripture is talking about. And as you can see, I designed this patch right here, or this is my design for the patch with the menorah inside of it for the first law book that we had at the first Hebrew Israelite Summit. Excuse me 1 second. So the first Hebrew Israelite Summit, and it was inspired by what we read in the scriptures that we're going to read today. So if you ever wondered, how did they come up with that design? You're going to read about it today. It was inspired by what we read right here in the book of Exodus, chapter 25, as well as the process of what we had to go through to get from here and then to get to the curtain that were behind the menorah. See, that's why you have the menorah on the front. All right. So now that candlestick was a candlestick that looked. This is just a rough sketch of it. It didn't look exactly like this, but you'll get the picture, the rough sketch of it. Okay, like that. And then let's put a little base right here. So this is how it kind of roughly looked. All right, now what happened is, keep reading.
A beaten work.
Now a beaten work means that they used to take a special kind of a hammer, okay? Special kind of hammer, all right? Maybe kind of soft right here, like rubber. They'll take that hammer, and with that hammer, they would hit the gold out, and then they would bang that sheet of, the sheet of gold, all right? They would bang that sheet of gold, all right? So that hammer would come down, and it would bang that gold out. And it would stretch it out and put different layers on it. That's how the menorah was made. The menorah was not, like a solid piece of metal like you have on this menorah here. All right, it wasn't like this menorah. It wasn't a solid piece of metal. What it was is a hollowed shape, hollowed menorah. A hollowed lamp is what it actually is. And it was a hollowed lamp. Okay? Go ahead.
Of beaten work shall the candlestick be
Uh-huh.
made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knobs, and his flowers shall be of the same.
Okay, so it was made of a beaten work. All right. What? We'll go back to verse 1.
And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold.
So the candlestick was made out of pure gold. Now I want you to leave from there, and I want you to go to, now this candlestick that's made out of pure gold is a symbol of wisdom. It's a symbol of wisdom because the candlestick is compared to a woman. And the brightest female entity that Yahawah has created is wisdom. So let's go into Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 26, verse 17. And let's check out this pure gold. First of all, let's explore the theme of the menorah. Explore the theme of this candlestick, which is really a lamp. This golden lamp. Okay, go ahead. Ecclesiasticus 26 and 17.
As the clear light,
I need to read a little louder.
As the clear light is upon the holy candlestick.
As the clear light is upon the holy candlestick. Now, the clear light came from what? The clear light, all right, you had like little fruits. All right, you have little fruits like this. Yeah, little fruits like that. All right, and these are called olives. Right, these are called olives. So what they do, they will crush the olives in a press. So you have like a big wheel like this. All right, and then that wheel will be attached to like something else. And then like a cow or something. Okay, a cow or a big ox. All right. A cow or something will be turning that wheel. All right, around in a circle. And then you have like the olive underneath here in like a pit. And then underneath this pit, you'd have like a little spout coming out. And that spout would go into like some sort of container. And in this right here will be what? Will be oil. So the oil for the lamp was made out of olives. All right, made out of olives. So what they would do is take the olives, crush them up, and then they take that same olive and they would take the now I'm gonna try something now. All right, I'm gonna try to do like how it would have looked, kind of. Okay, I'm gonna do a little small. All right, so bear with me. So on the candlestick, okay. Okay. This is just an example of the menorah. So what happened was that they would take that olive oil and they would pour the olive oil all inside here. All inside here. It's all olive oil inside here. They have like little wicks at the top of the olive oil, like spouts almost. All right, maybe something on the top of it, kind of shaped like this. All right, kind of shaped like this. All right, on the top of it. All right. Now, what that would do, the oil would come up. The oil comes up through right here. And when it gets here, it becomes what? It becomes a flame. Okay? It becomes a flame. So all inside the the lamp is olive oil. And that olive oil became bright It came through the lamp and it became very bright, right? Giving off so much light. All right, go ahead.
So is the beauty of the face in ripe age.
So read again.
As the clear light is upon the holy candlestick.
The holy candlestick is what we're reading about in Exodus chapter 25, verse 31, called the menorah, Manawara. So as the candlestick has that clear light, that pure light coming from the olive oil, read.
So is the beauty of the face in ripe age.
The beauty of the face is the holiness that gives light off, as your body is the temple. So once you get that, look and listen to what's going on. Listen to the wisdom of how Yahawah has it set up. To get that gold, you gotta what? You gotta beat it. To get them olives, the oil from the olive, you gotta what? You gotta crush them. What does that symbolize? That symbolizes when you come to do service for Yahawah, you gotta bang out the old you. You gotta destroy the old man. You have to be born again. You have to crucify your flesh. All right. You have to kill the old person. You got to crush your carnal desires. You have to crush that lower man every day in order for that anointing, which comes from the olive oil, to be throughout your lamp, which is letting your light shine, as the Messiah said. Yahawah shine. Let your light shine before men. All right. So read that verse again, Ecclesiasticus 26:17.
As the clear light is upon the holy candlestick, so is the beauty of the face in ripe age.
All right, so the golden candlestick, the face in ripe age, the beauty of it compared to the menorah. All right, so that menorah is showing you that there's woman of a beautiful face. All right, now what is the beauty of the woman that the Most High created that gives light brighter than anything but the spirit of wisdom? Wisdom is the light that the Most High created, that is the brightness, all right, the image of his brightness, as we read in the book of, let me read it for you real quick. And it's not on the list of scriptures, but we're going to read it. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 25, I'll read it. For she is the breath of the power of Yahawah. All right. Verse 26. For she is the brightness. See that? The brightness of the everlasting light. So now the menorah inside the temple is going to be there forever. So the everlasting light that shines before Yahawah is the menorah. But then it tells us that wisdom is the brightness of the everlasting light. So wisdom, the concept of wisdom, Yahawah incorporated into the menorah. Why? The menorah is the last thing that you see before you walk through the curtains to go into the Holy of Holies. So you must pass through and walk through wisdom in order to get as close as you can get to Yahawah. Which the first level of that is the Torah. The second level of that is regulating your flesh, regulating your actions according to the laws and the counsel and the scriptural advice and direction that we get in the book of Proverbs, in the book of Ecclesiasticus, that we get from the words of Yahawah, the Messiah. Read.
As the golden pillars are upon the sockets of silver.
Now let's get into the actual temple. So let's get over, actually, let's go to, let's get into Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 5. So what do you got to do with that gold? You have to what they call like smelt it, or you have to put it into a furnace. You have to fire it. You got to take that gold and put it into a container and put heat up under it, and all impurities separate from it. All right, and then you're left with that gold. All right, read Ecclesiastes 2 and 5.
For gold is tried in the fire.
Gold is tried in the fire. So the candlestick that we're reading about in the book of Exodus chapter 25, verse 31, it was made out of gold. But it didn't just come out that beautiful, that beautiful candlestick, the beautiful lamp, the beautiful gold didn't just, hey, you don't just find gold in the ground. You got to take gold. You got to dig for it. You got to search for it. And when you dig for it, you got to get a fire that's hot enough to melt it. And then you have to heat it up so that all of the impurities that are in it, can be separated from it. And then once you separate it from it, you take it and you heat it up again. And then you can mold it and shape it. So it's a process that we're going to. It's a process that we're going through to get that candlestick, which is really the lamp, the 7-branch lamp. There's a process that we go through, and there's a process that you have to go through as a woman and as a man in order to be proven as a servant of the Most High. All right? All right, as a servant of the Most High, you have to be proven. You have to be proven. You have to show yourself to be worthy. And then what the Most High does, gold is what?
For gold is tried in the fire.
Temptation.
Tried in the fire.
Sin.
Tried in the fire.
The flesh.
Tried in the fire.
Nasty attitude.
Tried in the fire.
Talking mean to people.
Tried in the fire.
Cussing people out.
Tried in the fire.
You're going to get tested with all these things. And that's your fire. So you have to pass through your fire before your light shines before men. You have to be born again. You have to be a branch that's plugged into Yahawah. And then that branch that's plugged into him starts bringing forth fruit. You see, that's how it works. And that's wisdom walking you through that process, okay? So once again, we're dealing with this this menorah design that we have from the temple. Right? This is the menorah design that we have from the temple. And once again, they will pour the olive oil in here, and then we'll go all throughout the bottom and fill up all of the different shafts. And then they would light it on the top. And that would give light throughout to the temple, especially by the Holy of Holies. All right, go ahead.
And acceptable men.
Acceptable men are what?
In the furnace of adversity.
So the furnace of adversity is where acceptable men get tried. All right. So you have negative that's always coming at you. That means you've been accepted by the Most High. You got to navigate and help people with their problems. And you in this furnace, feel like you under fire. You catching hell from all sides, man. That's the Most High putting you through that fire to see what you're going to do. Your boss tell you, if you don't come in, you're going to get fired. See, that's the furnace of adversity. That's that gold being tried. So if you don't pass that test, you don't go to the fire, and the Most High doesn't give you that light to shine. You don't become that candlestick. You don't become that lamp in the Most High's temple. Read.
Believe in him.
Believe in Yahawah. Read.
And he will help thee.
He's going to help you, man. So this is the lesson we know. This is the lesson that we learn from the menorah. In order for you to be a bright light before the Most High, you must believe on him when trouble comes your way, and he will help you. All right, let's go to 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 51. All right, 1 Kings 8:51. Go ahead.
For they be thy people.
Call your scripture every time you go to read it.
1 Kings chapter 8, verse 51.
Go ahead.
For they be thy people.
So we are Yahawah's people, read.
And thine inheritance.
We are Yahawah's inheritance. Go ahead.
Which thou broughtest forth out of Egypt.
Which he brought out of Egypt, read.
From the midst of the furnace of iron.
The furnace of iron. The furnace of affliction. The furnace of oppression. You see, we are in these captivities to purge the evil out of us, to bring out the real us that is gold before the Most High. That's why we're in these captivities. So the Most High brought us out of the furnace of what?
Of iron.
The furnace of iron is called Egypt, where that fire came upon us, where the Most High put us in that captivity. We had to do things for other nations instead of building up our own people. You see that? Give me Lamentations 4 and 8 real quick. So the gold of the menorah, the gold of the temple now is you. You are the gold of the temple. You are the gold of the menorah that's got to be beaten, that's got to go through that furnace of affliction, that's got to go through that furnace of adversity. Right? Lamentations chapter 4, verse 8. So I'll get that when you go to Proverbs 17 and 3. This is Lamentations 4 and 8. It says, the 4 and 8, what I want Lamentations chapter 4, verse 1. It says this. It says, how is the gold become dim? How is the most fine gold changed? You see that? Verse 2. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold. You see that? So the Most High said that we are like gold, but we're dim now because we're ugly before the Most High when we break His commandments. We're beautiful, bright, and shining before the Most High when we do and teach His commandments. That's why the scripture says that whoever will do and teach His commandments will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. That's what Yahawah said. All right. Let's go into Proverbs chapter 17, verse 3. Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 17, verse 3. The refining pot is for silver.
The refining pot is for silver. Go ahead.
And the furnace for gold.
The furnace is for gold. So when you catch in hell, when Satan is coming to you with all kind of thoughts, when demons trying to get you to do and think things that are against the Most High, you got to cast them thoughts down. That's the Most High, all right? That's Satan trying to take your shine. And the Most High is letting you go in that fire so you can see where your weak areas are in your flesh. Read.
But Yahawah trieth the hearts.
So Yahawah is trying your heart like that gold inside the furnace. All right, last one on that, Isaiah 58 and 10.
Isaiah chapter 58, verse 10. And if thou draw out thy soul to the hungry,
if you draw your soul to the hungry, go ahead.
And satisfy the afflicted soul.
And satisfy the afflicted soul, go ahead.
Then shall thy light rise in obscurity.
Thy what?
Thy light rise in obscurity.
Then your light, if you do those things toward other people that are loving, that are kind, that are righteous, your light is going to rise. At the end of that, go ahead.
And thy darkness be as the noonday.
Thy darkness is going to be as the noonday. You see that? Your darkness is going to be like the noonday, so the Most High is going to raise you up. Go ahead.
And Yahawah shall guide thee continually.
What verse you reading?
Isaiah chapter 58, verse 11.
48, 11. Go ahead. But we see that light is the Most High still talking about that light rising in obscurity. That light is going to rise if we do those things that are right and pleasing in the Most High. In Isaiah chapter 58, verse 10. We use Isaiah 58 and 1 a lot, but verse 10 tells us that we're going to rise from obscurity, and darkness is going to be like the noonday, and that happens through wisdom. The Most High is going to give us wisdom. Now let's read chapter 48, verse 10. Read.
Isaiah chapter 48, verse 10. Behold, I refine thee, but not with silver.
Now remember, we wasn't talking about silver with the menorah candlestick, the menorah lamp. We were talking about gold. Read.
I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction.
So that gold, the making of that bright light of the menorah, is comparable to your spirit going through affliction, your spirit going through the fire, your flesh being destroyed and bonded, all right, being brought into bondage, and your thoughts being lined up to Yahawah, and all of the evil that's in you being purged out because you shutting your mouth. You're not talking back. You're not being confrontational, argumentative. You're not being contentious. You're not jumping at every opportunity to correct somebody and show them how smart you are. You stand humble. See, when you humble yourself, Yahawah promised that He will exalt you. But you try to exalt yourself. I'm right, you wrong. That's how it is. Nah, the Most High said, just sit back and wait on me. And when you wait on him, he gonna expose the whole show. All right. So now, when we see about this menorah, all right, we want to be a light. The menorah had to be forged. It had to be beaten. The gold had to be purged of all impurities, had to get pushed out of that thing. That's your sin. That's the works of the flesh. That's your pride. Even Yahawah had to go through the furnace. Even Yahawah had to be tempted the same way. Ain't nothing we go through, no sin that he wasn't tempted with. All right? He was tempted with all types of sexual things, all types of dietary things, all types of perverted and twisted thoughts, all types of crime and robbery and theft and pharmakia, tempted to cast spells on people, tempted to turn to witchcraft. He was tempted in all of these things because that's the fourth pillar of wisdom, is equity. All right, ma yashardium. All right, that's the fourth pillar of wisdom. All right, ma yashardium, that which is upright, that which is balanced, that which is fair, that which stands up straight. See, the Most High couldn't put him through nothing and then not put us through the same things. But he took on everything for us and paid the penalty for us. Hallelujah. So there's nothing that we go through that Yahawah ain't already familiar with. You see, so we got to pass through them same tests, but we don't have as many tests. All right, all glory to the Most High. We don't have as many tests as Yahawah HaMashiach had. All right, every single thing that we go through, he was put through that fire, and he came out like that. And this ain't gold, but he came out bright and shiny like the pure gold. All right, so let's go real quick, man, into go into the book of Hebrews. I think I want to go into chapter 2. I want to go into Hebrews. I think I want to go into 2. I kind of want to go into 2:14, but I think there's a better one. Let's go into Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15. That's a better one. Hebrews 2:14 is good, but 4:15 is a little better. Read Hebrews 4:15.
Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15. For we have not an high priest which cannot be touched with the feelings of our infirmities.
So we don't have a high priest that can't be touched with the feelings of our infirmities. What's our infirmity is sin. What's the feelings of our sin? The emotional roller coaster we go through throughout the day. Oh, I hate you. Oh, I love you. I don't want to see you again. I want to see you tomorrow. All right. You make me sick. You the best thing ever happened to me. Turn around, touch the ground, get up, get down, get left, get right. You see? Go ahead, get in front of me, miss. Oh, wait, why you cutting me off? All right. I want to eat today. No, I think I'm on a diet. All right. Oh, I want to go out and lay with this man's woman. No, I shouldn't lay with this man's woman. I want to lay with another man. No, I shouldn't lay with another man. I want to eat from this place that sells bacon. Oh, no, I shouldn't eat from that place. See, all these thoughts are constantly bombarding us. So the scripture says that he had the same feelings of everything you go through. Exact same feelings. Read.
But wasn't all points tempted like as we are.
He was tempted the same way as you got tempted. Everything. He wanted to disrespect Mary and Joseph. He wanted to talk back to his mother and father. He wanted to suck his teeth. He wanted to say, I hate my mother. She get on my nerve, always telling somebody what to do. I always want to wake somebody up. He went through them same temptations, but he was yet what?
Yet without sin.
He was yet without sin. Because he had to come forth as that what? As that pure gold. And that same way you got to go through these temptations so you can come forth as pure gold, man. You got the wherewithal to do it. Yahawah gave you the tools in the Bible to do it. All right. If you're going through something that's too hard, too tough, hit me on the inbox and I'll be glad to help you through it. I'm here for you. That's my job, is to help my brother and to love my neighbor as I love myself. And I love you. And I'm here for you. And I do what I can patiently to help you as long as I see that you are sincere, deep in your spirit, to become one with Yahawah and one with the Father. I help you. All right, from there, let's go into 1 Kings chapter 6, verse 7. Because now a lot of people go through different things. Actually, you know what, man? Let's not go to 1 Kings yet. Let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon. Let's go back to Exodus chapter 35. We didn't get past verse 1, did we? Exodus 25, right? What verse we in? 2?
Verse 32.
All right, let's read verse 32.
Exodus chapter 25, verse 32. And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it, 3 branches of the candlestick out of one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side. 3 bowls made like unto almonds, with a knob and a flower in one branch. And
so a knob and a flower. So it had like a little knob, not like a little flower design. And go ahead.
And 3 bowls made like almonds on the other branch.
And then like little bowls. There's like 3 different designs on it. A knob, or what else?
Made like almonds and the bowls.
No, you would have said knob. Start from there.
With a knob and a flower in one branch.
So there was a knob, which is like this, and then there was some sort of a floral design, which probably was something like this.
And 3 bowls.
And then it has something like a bowl design too. So they have three different designs on it. Go ahead.
Made like almonds in the other branch.
All right, go ahead.
With a knob and a flower. So on the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick.
So it was on the side in the middle it was 1, and on the side was 6. 3 on one side, and then there was 3 on the other side. How many did I have done? So it was 3 and 3, and there's 1 in the middle. Go ahead.
And in the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds.
Go ahead.
With their knobs and their flowers. And there shall be a knob under 2 branches of the same, and a knob under 2 branches of the same, and a knob under 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that proceed out of the candlestick. The knobs and their branches shall be of the same.
So the knobs and the branches were of the same style, same kind, same design. Read.
All it shall be one beaten work of pure gold.
One beaten work of pure gold. So they had to really beat this thing, and that's what's going to happen to our spirits. Our spirits really got to be beaten. You got to beat that old man down. You got to tell him, you know what? You're not going to win today, Hashatan. You're not going to win today. Yahawah is the coach. Yahawah is the owner. All right. Yahawah is the one that's called the shots. And if it ain't inside Yahawah's playbook, I'm not going to do it. Because if you don't do what's in Yahawah's playbook, you playing for Satan's team. All right. And Satan going to have an award show. And his award show is going to last forever. And it's going to be hot. It's going to be a hot award show. It's going to be blazing. It's going to be fire, son. It's called the Lake of Fire. So you don't want to be playing on Hashatan's team, man. Just keep that in your mind. Your reward will be death and fire forever when you turn your back on the word of the Most High. Very simple equation. Obedience plus Willingness equals life. Disobedience equals death forever and fire. All right. So now we see that there was what? Keep reading.
And thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof.
Make the 7 lamps. So now we come into the 7. What's the 7 lamps are going to be the 7 lights. And we already see what is the brightness of the everlasting light is what? What's the brightness of everlasting light? Who remembers? Anybody who remembers? What is it? Wisdom. Wisdom is the brightness of the everlasting light. All right. And there's 7 lamps on the menorah, and there's 7 pillars of wisdom. 7 branches on the candlestick going curving out, and then at the top they go up straight. So 7 straights. All right. So it's 7 of them. And 7 in the Hebrew will be something along the lines like this. How you do it. Then you also can do it like this. These are different ways we will write the number 7 in the in the Hebrew. All right, going to the side, slanted. I like that. So now with 7, we got to stop from there and go ahead. 7 lamps. Go ahead.
And they shall light the lamps thereof.
They shall light the lamps thereof, meaning light those shafts, those hollow pieces of the menorah that got to keep that anointing. If they lose the anointing, what happens to the light? If they lose that olive oil, which represents the anointing, if they lose that olive oil inside the lamp, inside of the candlesticks, what happens? The light, there's no light. The light goes out. So if you keep your oil where? In your lamp. Make sure you got that oil on hand, which is the anointing, which is being spirit-filled, which is being spirit-filled, which is being not filled, but filled, which is being spirit-led, which is walking in the footsteps of Yahawah HaMashiach, which is being a wise virgin, one of the 5. One of the 5. Why 5 virgins? Why 5? All right. You have 5 virgins. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and then you got Deuteronomy. Once you learn how to walk these 5 books and see Messiah in these 5 books, you're never going to run out of oil. Once you start living according to what these first 5 books say, you're never going to run out of oil. And why was they 5 foolish virgins? Because they turned their back to Torah. They didn't walk in Torah. They stayed in the what? In the darkness. If you don't got your light and got your oil and got your lamp, you're going to be in what? Darkness. You're going to be in darkness. All right, so now, finish reading that verse.
That you may give light over against it.
All right, so they may give light over against it, you know, one face upon another face. All right, so now what I want to do, let's jump a little bit. And let's deal with this light real quick. Let's go to Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verse 1. I know you used to say it here in Ecclesiasticus, but right now we're going to go into Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verse 1. Let's see what that says.
Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Who is as the wise man?
Who is as the wise man? Read.
And who knows the interpretation of a thing?
What verse you in?
Chapter 8, verse 1.
Give me a second. Go ahead.
And who knows the interpretation of a thing?
So who is a wise man and who knows the interpretation of a thing? Meaning what? Who can go into the Torah and show what does the menorah mean and how do we apply it to our daily lives? What do the colors of the temple mean? The scarlet, the purple, and the blue, and how does it apply to our lives? What does the gold of the candlestick of the menorah, what does that mean? And how do we apply it to our lives? See, wisdom shows you the interpretation of a thing. Wisdom showed me, and wisdom can show you. And that's the whole thing I really want you to understand. I am no more special than you are. The only thing is the difference between me and you is that I'm looking at the scripture, I'm asking the Most High for the understanding, and I'm verifying everything through wisdom. And it always lines up. All right, go ahead.
A man's wisdom makes his face to shine.
A man's wisdom makes his face to shine. That means you stand out on the crowd. There's something about you that people just are, radiate. When you radiate, it's either going to one of the two things happen. People are going to stay away from you, or they're going to gravitate towards you about what you're radiating about. That's why some people don't even want to come close to people that's dealing on a certain level of understanding, with the scriptures. Why? Because the light that's in you is condemning the darkness that's in other people. The light that's in some people condemns that darkness. So what happens? The people hate the light. So don't take it personal. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. This is a spiritual battle. This is a spiritual battle, Gad. Don't even worry about it, Gad. This is a spiritual battle. Don't get mad or upset or in your flesh when people fight against you with a carnal thought or carnal words. So what? You know what the end of the race is going to be, right? The end of the race is eternity. And us living as gods, like Neo on a Matrix, flying through the sky, taking trips to the inside of the sun. That's the reward that we're going to get. So don't even worry about people. That's just Hashatan trying to pull you into a lake of fire with him. That's what everything is about. This whole thing we're going over now is to show you how to keep your spirit and your soul lined up with Yahawah. Lined up with Yahawah so you can live eternally and get back the eternal life that the Most High have promised you. But you got to work for it. You got to go to that furnace of affliction. You got to go to that furnace of trial, of adversary, that iron furnace. You got to go through it. All right? All right, go ahead.
And the boldness of his face shall be changed.
The boldness of his face shall be changed. That's his strength. All right? The wisdom makes his face to shine. The glow, just like this candlestick that we're reading about, those 7. Wisdom makes the man's face to shine. So the candlestick was made to shine with the oil. And that's why we have 7 steps with wisdom. 7 branches on the candlesticks. And we got 7 levels you got to go through in order to be closer to Yahawah, to be like him. All right? You got to become as a child. All right? Then you come out as a child, you got to what? You got to die. And then when you die, you become a new creature. When you become a new creature, what happens? You become a branch. And if you become a branch, you got to bring forth what? Fruit. If you're a branch that don't bring forth fruit, the scripture says you're gonna be what? You're gonna be cut out. So now you gotta be a branch, but not only a branch, but now you gotta be a branch with fruit. Right, Kaya? Now, after you're a branch for fruit, if you see, what's your favorite fruit? Mango, okay. What color mango? The big ones, the little ones, or the big ones? All right, so if you see, if there's a mango and there's a mango tree, and you want a mango, what you gonna do? Get one off the tree. If a mango tree with no mangoes, are you gonna go to that tree? No. So now you got a mango tree and it has mangoes on it. So now that mango tree becomes a what? Like a light. I gotta go to the tree, get that mango off of it. So now once you got that fruit, what happens now? The people that like that fruit that you got, what are they going to do? They're going to come to you and try to get some of that fruit. Okay? That's how you become as a light. All right? That's how you become as a light. So now, once you start to eat that mango, what happens to your body? What the mango supposed to do to your body? Supposed to destroy it. What? Provide nutrients. And nutrients supposed to do what to your body? If you don't feed the baby, what happens to the baby? But if you feed the baby, what happens to the baby? It keeps on living. What's happening on the inside though? It's growing. It's growing. And that's how you become what? A builder. Okay? So this is everything. This is the wisdom of the menorah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, what I use in the battle of the mind. All right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 steps that Yahawah gives us. Okay? Your body is a temple. You see that? Your body is a temple. But before we even really, start to build the temple, before we even start to make the walls and before we start to make the pillars, the Most High says what? The Most High says, yo, this is the light. This is the light. Then after we get the light, then we get all the details and instructions on what to build and how. What to build and how. All right, so yeah, what to build and how to do it. But first, you got to become that light. So you become a child. Then you die. You got to kill that old man because that's what's causing you so much trouble. Because you want to be the old you, the one that didn't let people talk to them any kind of way. All right, the one that wish somebody would. You want to stay that person. You don't want to be that person to turn the other cheek. And people say, "Oh yeah, you turn the other cheek. He ain't really talking about turning the other cheek." Well, how come he ain't? How come he ain't? Anybody say do it all the time, but try it sometimes. Try to be passive when somebody being aggressive with you. You see? So now you die. You got to kill that old man and you're reborn as a new creature. When you're reborn as a new creature, now you got to get plugged into your Yahawah. You got to become that branch. You got to grow, grow, grow. Now you're growing as that branch. After a while, your branch starts to bring forth fruit. Then people want that fruit, see that fruit, and start to come to you for that fruit. And you can feed your own spirit. You become that light. And then after that, it starts to build. You're building each other up. You're building your brother. You're building up your sister. So that's what happens. All right. So now on the other side of that, dealing with wisdom directly, we have what? We have knowledge, and then we have the instruction. Then after that, you have what? Understanding. After understanding, you have what? Discretion. Which is a what? Which is like a planning. Then after that, you have what? Equity. Which is what? Which is being fair and upright. Then after that, you have what? You have justice, which is righteousness. All right? And after that, you have judgment. That means, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Am I going to do the right thing right now? And after that, you got wisdom. All right? So you have instruction and knowledge first. Then you have to understand it, distinguish between those choices and the pieces of information. Then you have the discretion. How does it work? How does it apply? What is the plan to actually do this thing? Then you have the equity. Am I being fair? Am I being upright? How can I use this and become more upright before the Most High? And then you have the justice, which is the righteousness of this matter, the balance between the negative and the positive, knowing that this is how you do it, and it's in the commandments and laws of the Most High, and it doesn't violate the commandments and laws of the Most High. All right? Because your common sense can get you all the way here, but right here is when you start to go back into the Torah and justice. Now, judgment's going to be, you know what? This don't line up. I'm going to abandon it. Guess what? That's wisdom. Or justice or judgment says, you know what? It lines up with the Most High. It lines up with the Torah. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and do it. And then when you do it, now you're walking into wisdom. All right? But the beginning of wisdom is called the fear of Yahawah. That's how wisdom starts. Total fear of the Most High. Total subjection and obedience to the Most High. Let's continue. Actually, we read, let's go back to Exodus 25. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 25, verse 38. And the tongs thereof, and the snuff dishes thereof, shall be of pure gold.
Once again, the Most High loved that gold, man. He want gold everywhere, like gold dishes, gold lights, gold lamps. Even the inside of the tabernacle and the temple had gold on the wall. Gold on the wall. Someone said, oh yeah, the Taj Mahal got little things, little dots of jewels, but ain't got no gold walls throughout like we had. Gold tables. Most I said, did that table in gold. You know what I'm saying? Most I, you know, giving the brother the Midas touch. That book is gold. That is turned to gold. The table is gold. The stick is gold. All right. The tongs is gold. The plates is, everything is gold, man. The Most High want gold everywhere. The Most High wanted gold everywhere. So everywhere you look inside that temple, man, it was gold. It was gold. All right. Con. Fear the Most High is the crown of wisdom. All right. Fear the Most High is the crown of wisdom. All praise to the Most High. Hey, man, the Most High be like, hey, you know how to make that table look good? Dip it in gold. You know how to make the Ark of the Covenant look good? Dip it in gold. Hey, give me that stick. Man, you know how to make this stick look good? Can you guess? Dip it in gold. You know my mind. You see that? Dip it in gold. Most High want everything. He want everything to be gold, man. The Most High is fly. All right? The Most High got all these fly designs, man. The Most High. Now, we ain't even get into the textiles. That's going to be mind-blowing 101. We ain't even get into the textiles yet. Stick around for the textiles. Don't go nowhere. Keep reading.
Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it.
Woo! You know how much a talent is? Look it up. Go ahead.
With all these vessels.
Man. Go ahead.
And look that thou make them after their pattern.
Look that thou make them after their pattern. All right, now before we do the go ahead. Go ahead.
Which was showed thee in the mountain.
So the Most High showed Moses everything on how to do it and put the spirit in the brothers to actually do it that way. All right, go ahead.
Parashah.
The
Bar Yahawah.
Na'ishah. Banashemai.
All that Yahawah said.
All that Yahawah has said.
What we doing here.
What we doing here. Now, let's backtrack real quick. Okay? Why? Because when you going through your process of the Most High purging that evil out of you, we all got evil in us. So when the Most High purged that evil out of you, he taking through the fire, you catching hell, you complaining, you walking around frowning, mean mugging everybody, screw fist. Boy, no, they watch me. No watch part of me. Boy, might not box you on your fist, but they watch me, man. You see that? So the more you walk around like that, or you walk around joyfully. So as the Most High is building up your temple, how are you responding to it? How are you acting while the Most High is building your temple? See, we got the answer to that in the scriptures too. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 6, verse 7. This is a beautiful scripture to show you that you need to keep your mouth shut a lot of the time, and the Most High can do his work and produce some of the most beautiful sculptures, some of the most beautiful architecture, just because you keep your mouth shut, just because you keep quiet. Read 1 Kings chapter 6, verse 7.
1 Kings chapter 6, verse 7. And the house, when it was in building.
The house of the temple of Yahawah, when it was being built. Everybody listen? When this house was being built, what was being happening in that time? Huh? So the house was being built. The house, which is the temple of Yahawah, was being built. Let's see what's going on with this house. What's the Most High got this building being constructed? You the temple now, man. We read that yesterday, right? Where we read that at yesterday? 1 Corinthians what? 1 Corinthians 6. So y'all got to go back and look at these things, man. And get your little notebooks out and take notes on the scriptures. Your body is the temple now. So the building was, read that again.
And the house, when it was in building.
The house of Yahawah was being built, read.
Was built of stone, made ready before it was brought.
It was built of stone, and the stone was made ready outside the city. It was being, the stone was being made ready. Wasn't being banged on and chiseled in the city. They took outside the city. Read.
So that there was neither hammer.
There was what?
Neither hammer.
They're building a temple. They're building a temple of Yahawah, Shekata. They're building this house of Yahawah. But when they were building it, it was neither what?
Neither hammer.
There was no hammer. Read.
Nor axe.
There was no axe. Read.
Nor any tool of iron.
There was no iron tool. Read.
Heard in the house.
It was no noise from any metal instruments when it was building the whole temple. Didn't know that, did you? How you gonna, have you ever been to a work site? Y'all seen houses being constructed before, right? What do you hear? Around here, around Mexico. Oh man, right? That's all you hear, right? You didn't hear that when the Most High's temple was being built. It was shh, be very quiet. It was quiet. Wasn't no hammers banging. Wasn't no metal instruments banging. It was the wood being prepared and nailed with metal off-site. The stones were being prepared off-site. And then they brought them into the city and they were constructed. Now, show me one white man, show me one human being recently that's built magnificent structures with no noise on site, besides the Most High. I mean, this is a magnificent building we're talking about. You know how much joining they had to do? How much dovetailing, how much joints they had to. Do you know how much architectural genius you have to in order to make a building? And when you make that building, you don't hear no banging from no metal tools when the building is being completed. That's amazing, right? That's amazing. At the end of that verse? Read.
While it was in building.
While it was in building, there was no noise from those instruments. That's beautiful. That's amazing. The Most High is definitely all powerful. All right. Now let's go into chapter 26, verse 1. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 26, verse 1.
Moreover,
thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen.
So the tabernacle was made out of fine twined linen, meaning what? Little thin pieces of linen. All right, little linen thread like that. See, I can hardly see that. Linen threads, okay? Linen threads, fine twined linen threads. Linen threads. Now, the thing with linen, when you harvesting linen, when you harvest it, You know, they didn't just go out there and just cut it. Cut it. Cut it. Cut it. They didn't cut it. They had to do what? How do you harvest linen? If you don't cut it, you got to do what? Somebody tell me. How? How? Specifically, what part do you need to make sure you get also? Remember, there's no cutting going on. You had to pull linen up by the roots. The roots are part of the harvesting process also. So you got to pull it up all the way. You got to get as much root as you can to get it out the ground and get it processed efficiently. That's what linen is. All right. The pants that he has on are linen pants right there. Those are linen pants right there. That's linen. So the Most High likes linen. He likes linen. All right. He likes linen. Go ahead.
And blue.
The blue. Now the blue, when we go into Numbers chapter 15, verse 38, that Yahawah is giving us, the blue represents the covenant, represents obeying the commandments of Yahawah, because the fringes represent, each one represent the whole law. And on top of that, you put the seal of it, you will put the blue ribbon all around it, the blue ribbon. That represents the law. That represents obedience to the commandments of the Most High. Blue and what?
And purple.
And purple. Mark chapter 15, verse 17 and 18. Right? That represents the royalty. That represents the riches of the children of Israel that the Most High gave us. That's what the purple represents. So you have the blue representing obedience to the commandments. And then after we make the obedience to the commandments, we understand the riches that are made available to us in the heavenly realm that we can access and manifest on the earth through wisdom, through our prayers being offered to the Most High, through him knowing our needs and making sure our needs get provided for. Read.
And scarlet.
And the scarlet. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 8, and John chapter 6, verse 53 to 56 shows us that the scarlet represents what? The sacrifice. Represents the covenant, represents the blood atonement of the children of Israel back to Yahawah. That's what that represents. So all these colors represent something to the Most High. And he didn't choose two shades of purple, a violet and a violet and a purple. He chose a blue, B-L-U, light blue to dark blue. All right. They say, Josephus says that there was a sky blue, a lighter blue that was mainly used. With Josephus, of course, being the first century priest, general, and historian that wrote the history of the children of Israel after the Romans conquered Israel in 70 AD. All right, go ahead.
With cherubim of cunning work.
Now, this cunning work, go ahead.
Shalt thou make that, man.
This cunning work gets into what they call like a brocade, which then that's why I got this garment on. It's my special garment I wore just for this filming of the Torah. This is a brocade type of a garment right here. See, this is brocade. Right, you see the I think it's a horse with some chariots on there. Right, there's a horse and there's chariots, but what happens with the brocade, right, here's another design for the brocade right there. What happens with the brocade, I can't get in, you can't really see it. You can't really see the brocade because there's a lining that was put on the brocade right here to keep it from snagging. But on this brocade, what they do is this design is not is not needlework. It's not embroidery. Embroidery is when you take the fabric. For example, this is embroidery. See that? This was embroidered on here right here. See the loose thread? That means that somebody sewed this individually. And see that loose thread? That means that they sewed this one individually. That's the loose thread right there. They sold these individually. All right. Now, with the brocade, which is like this. Brocade would be more like this, where you actually go through with the material and you sew the design in the weave of the fabric. So you have to have an image, a picture of, let's say, of a picture of like let's say of a menorah, and then you have the warp. You have the warp of the garment, which is the material going up and down like this. See, this is the warp. All right, this is the warp going up and down. That's the warp. That's the warp. You have some on the top, and then you have the same direction on the bottom. All right, and then you have what's called the woof, or the woof or the warp. This one is the warp, and then you have the weft. Okay, you have the weft, which goes across. So what the Most High had them do, you got this linen thread like this. It's linen thread, and then they take these linen threads and they dyed them with a special dye that cost as much as gold. An ounce of these dyes was worth an ounce of gold. So now you got all of the curtains in Jerusalem at the tabernacle, and then you got the tabernacle in the wilderness now, the temple at Jerusalem, and then the tabernacle in the wilderness. You have all of the curtains with these valuable, expensive, super costly dyes that cost as much as gold. Okay, you want a dye, you want an ounce of gold? I'll give you an ounce of this blue dye, of this purple dye, of this red dye. Here it is. Be careful with it. And it was very expensive, very, very expensive. So the Most High say, I want you to make these tall curtains, and I want you to use the special blue dyes. I want you to use the special purple dyes, the special red dyes. Not only that, but when you do it, see, this is needlework. This is needlework. See this? This is needlework. They took this, they have a base on it. I sell these patches too, by the way. You can hit me up. I can get some of these patches to you also. So they make these, and then you see the back of it is the back of the embroidery. Here's the front of it. This is all embroidered. It's all embroidered. Now this, however, this is not embroidered. This is actual thread that was sewn with the garment like this. You have some of the ones that go up and down. Okay, that's called the warp. And then you have the woof or the weft that goes like this. And then they pull the thing down. It's called a shutter. Then a shuttle. They weave it through and then they bring it down. And they brought another one through. And then they pull it down. And all the strings start to add up, add up, add up. But in the strings is finely detailed designs. And each thread is a little tiny piece of the design. All right. So in other words, I'm gonna show you one here. In other words, let's say you want to make a circle. Okay. So now they got all this thread right here. Just a simple circle. All of that thread right there. You see that? Everybody see everybody see the thread? All that thread, and the thread would have a circle design on it. So so you have a little dot, bam. All right, it's I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say sewn, I meant to say woven. Forgive me. It's woven. All right. So now it's just be a little dot right there. Let's take that off. See that now? You see everybody see that now, right? So you have just a little color dot on here. That would be, that's for the circle. That's for the circle. That's for the circle. That's for the circle. Then when you bring it all together, bam, they give you a circle shape. Now, if you're interested in learning about just how fly Yahawah is, you want to look up something called brocade. Right here, brocade, Brocade. Brocade. Check that out. And this is what we're reading about right now. This is very, very expensive garment fabrication techniques that the Most High is using. You got damask, which is another technique. You have jacquard, which is another technique based on the same principle, where you're not going to just take a garment and say, okay, we got the garment, now let me sew a design into it. No, you're not doing that. All right. The actual garment that you're making together, the design that you're going to put into it is going to become, it's actually woven into the garment. It's a part of the garment. Everybody follow me? It's a part of the garment. You following me? It's a part of the garment. It's actually the thread had the design. So imagine you got thread, boom, you got a whole bunch of threads. You got 100 threads, and you draw a circle on the thread. All right? Or you take some gold and you put on the thread. And then you say, okay, I'm gonna take this thread, and now you gotta put it on it. So you get 100 threads. You put 100 threads going across the warp. 100 threads. And then you look at them 100 threads, bam, you're gonna have a circle. And that's what they did. Except for this, the Most High said, I want you to do an angel design. The cherubims with the wings and the faces. And that's what they did. And that's the exact same technique that we have right here on this garment. See, so here at the house of Parashah, we not only make, and we made this was made by us. This was made by us, designed and made by us, right? So we not only read the scriptures, but we also like for the things that we wear and the clothing that we produce, that we make on our machines, that we assemble. We also like for them to be reflective of a Hebrew lifestyle. You know why? Because it's so Hebrew fly. The Hebrew is so fly. It's just so fly, man. It's just what beats the Hebrew moment, man. And when we deal with these things like this, the Most High talks about the network also. This is the Hebrew, man. So this is what the Most High. These are the types of things that the Most High made. Now, this is a good example right here. This is an example of the brocade. See this? Here's the outside, green and gold, and the inside, it's sewn into it. It's part of the actual fabric. The design is actually part of when they made the garment and they put the garment together. So that's how the Most High had us do. And I'm spending so much time on this so you can appreciate the temple. You can appreciate the wisdom that Yahawah built in to this place of worship, this place where he is meeting, with us. So we can worship him in a beautiful environment. All right. So look up brocade. All right. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 26, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
The length of one curtain shall be 8 and 20 cubits.
8 and 20 cubits. That's 28 cubits, 28 feet. All right. 28 feet. All right. I'm going to show you the technique for this. So read it again.
The length of one curtain shall be 8 and 20 cubits.
When you hear cubit, I'm not going to get into the formula and everything, but when you hear cubit, 8 and 20 is what? 28. All right. What's half of 28? So you take 14 and you add that to that first number. And now you got what? 42 feet. That's how long these curtains were. 42 feet. 42 feet, man. 42 feet. That's long, ain't it? A 42-foot curtain. 42-foot curtain with detailed work like this. Man, how can you be an Israelite How can you be an Israelite and not like fashion? That's why Israelites, so-called Israelites that were the people, the original people in the Americas, and then the people that came over into the Americas in slavery. That's why we love fashion so much, man. It's in our blood. That's why we such a fly people, man. It's in our blood. And then you know, we fly. We like nice stuff, man. We like nice stuff. And I don't really have everything on this one is sewn up though, man. Everything is sewn up. I don't have nothing to show you. It's all, you know, it's all protected. I can't show it to you. It's all protected. So it didn't unravel and it didn't snag on anything. So yeah, well, this one doesn't have it, but you know, that's not it. But now, so the Most High, he got everything set up, man. You know, so this is 42 feet long curtain, and they were doing some intricate designs on it like this. Man, imagine doing this on 42 feet of material. What type of skills our people had. All right, and this is like a horse right here. But imagine the skills our people had. You thinking that we was just in Egypt, you know, picking cucumbers for them. Man, we were sustaining them people, and we taught them about style, fashion. We came into Egypt knowing how to do stuff, man. Abraham taught a lot of knowledge to the Egyptian government. Okay. All right, read.
And the breadth of one curtain, 4 cubits.
The what?
The breadth of one curtain, 4 cubits.
4 cubits. So how many feet is that? 4 cubits. How many feet is that? How many feet is that? What I say to do? Take the number, cut it in half, and add them two together. What's half of 4? What's 2 plus 4? So 6 feet long. This thing was 6 feet and 6 feet long. 6 feet wide and 40 feet long. Now, that was nice of the Most High, right? Because they only had to go across like this, you know, the length of my body, which is 6 feet. So it was only like 6 feet wide like this, 6 feet wide like that. That's how wide it was, 2 yards. So they only had to go across and then bring it back through. And then they with the little thing pulling it down. 2 men were doing it. They had 2 people that had to do a job like that. The Most High's fly, man. That's why we got to get into these scriptures, man, and see like, yo, this is the type of power that we serve, man. He on a higher level. All right, he on a high level. All right, go ahead.
And every one of the curtains shall have one measure.
And what was the 42? 42 by 6. All right, go ahead.
The 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another, and the other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another.
So I have 5 curtains and 5 curtains. So that's 5 curtains. That's the 30-foot section and a 30-foot section. Go ahead.
And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of the one curtain from the selvage in the coupling.
The loops of blue, once again, came from that thread. Remember, we're using linen. We're using linen. So the thread, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention linen. What's special about linen is that if you got linen that's not processed a lot, meaning it's still the natural fibers and everything, the natural fiber of linen, when you really don't process it a lot, is going to be kind of thicker. The more you process it, it gets kind of thin. All right, but linen itself has 3 main oils for your brain. Keeps your brain really functioning good. That's omega-3, 6, and omega-9. That's what they call that oil. You got fish oil that has omega-3s and 6s also, 3, 6, and 9, but I think more 3 and 6, especially salmon, and that's what they sell the little fish oil or cod liver oil, helps your body think, and also helps your body stay healthy, right, with cod liver oil, all right? Omega-3 and 6. Is this the brocade? Okay. Told y'all, man, here at the House of Parashah, boy, we don't be playing, my G. This is brocade right here. Let me go back with that. This is brocade. All right, here's the brocade right here. See that? Now you can't even really see the colors on this thing, but because this what is cotton or silk? All right, we think it's silk. Here, do a burn test on it. See, burn it. See. We have to burn, see if it's silk or not. Now I don't know if you can see this. Fold it up a little bit. A small piece of it. Okay, so this is how it looks. This is the technique that the Most High had us using. All right, this is called brocade. All right, this is not a embroidery. This is the actual thread was sewn into it going this direction to make these designs in here. And this is what the back side of it looks like. See? There's one thread going through. And the way you know it's one thread going through is because there's no tie on it. There's nothing where you have a loose thread. Right? Look at the whole back of it. This is the back side of it. See that? There's no loose threads. There's no loose threads. So they would take this, this is the back side of it. All the threads are going from one end to another. Only place you have threads at is really on this, here's the selvage of it. That's the end. Right? So here's the selvage right here. This is the selvage. So it was like this going sideways. And then they came in across like this and made the flower designs. All right, it's not synthetic, but so it's natural fiber. We think it's silk. And the way you can tell it is because, let me see that. The way you tell the natural materials is you smell it. And if it's like you smell it when it burns. All right, so I'm going to do a burn test. First time Hebrew would burn test live on TV right now. See how it burns? It's a natural fiber, all right? And when you touch the natural fiber, it's not going to be hard. If it's like if it has like a polyester, rayon has a little bit of plastic in it. If you touch it and it's smooth, if it's smooth when you touch it, or you touch it, it crumbles, or if it smells like hair, then it's a natural fiber. This was either like a highly processed, but silk doesn't smell like hair, does it? But this has like, this might be cotton, because it has like a paper smell, cotton or linen. But what kind of finish would they do to get this shiny finish on here? It would have to be mercerized, right? But this ain't mercerized, because mercerized would still leave a residue, right? But the mercerizer they use now is the actual putting that coating on it, isn't it? All right, so we don't know what fabric this is for sure, but it's definitely a natural fiber. So if you see me with a garment like this on, you know that this is some temple handiwork right here. All right. Temple hand. Let me get it close, man, so people can really see it. See that? That's this side right here. Now let me show you the obverse of it. You see that? Let me show you the obverse. The obverse. So that's the obverse. This one right here, that's the obverse of it. Or the reverse, my bad. The reverse. I think it's the obverse. All right, so that's how it looks on that side. And this is how it looks on the right side. The right side out right there. Little flower design, man. So, and I like to incorporate these type of things, into my garments that I make, man, because I appreciate the quality of fine fabric and fine design techniques, just like our creator Yahawah does, man, our Heavenly Father. He likes the same thing, man, and that's why we really had to start making our own clothes, because we saw, man, this stuff that they making, the white man is making, It's just his name is on it, but the stuff is really cheap. It's cheap material. It don't last, you know, and you know, it's cheap material. It don't last, and then you know, it's run of the mill. It's not really nice, not by biblical standards, by Gentile modern standard. Oh yeah, it's real nice and expensive. You know what I'm saying? It's Prada or whatever, but you know, but Prada stuff it got different design techniques, but there's no craftsmanship in the actual production of the garment like we read about in the Bible right here. Man, this is fly. And because I know about fabric, I know about garments, you know, we sew and we design garments. So we know when something is quality. I mean, something could be this right here that I got on right now. For example, this is the bottom of it right here. This is the bottom of it. Let me show you the bottom. This is I have this underneath my long garment. But this is, you know, we made these fringes on the end of it. I made these. I actually made these by hand with a cotton thread. Made it by hand with a cotton thread. Then we put the blue on top of it. So we attached each fringe was attached individually, man. This is attached individually. This is attached individually. This is attached individually, man. We attach all of these fringes, you know, individually, and then put the blue on it. All right. And then over top of the blue, we put another red type of ribbon. All right. Red type of ribbon. You know, and this is what we really need to get off into. I'll show you the whole thing. You know, I'll show you the whole thing. This is what we really need to, and like I said, this is a silk garment underneath of it, and then we have the split on the side. You know, but I like to wear it. I wore it underneath here because it has the red collar. See, kind of matching collar right there. But it's a garment, you know, all to itself. It's a garment all to itself. You know, have a couple of rips and stuff in it that need to be sewn up, but you know, I want to really sew it with silk thread, and that's the only reason I haven't really repaired it. But I wear it, you know, I have it on now as an under tunic. All right. So this is the craftsmanship that we're reading about in the Bible. So we should be reflecting what we see in the Bible. What's inside comes out. The more you think like a Hebrew, the more you're going to keep the laws of the Hebrews, the more you're going to follow the wisdom of the Hebrews, and the more you're going to dress and talk and act like the Hebrews. So it's a package deal, man. I can't go to China. I can't go to India saying, yeah, you know, I'm a Hindu. I'm gonna practice yoga. I want to be a Swami, all right, and I want to go see the guru. But I'm coming in there with, you know, with a sweatsuit on or a t-shirt and short. They're like, nah, we got this is how we do, man. You got to get into it. You got to put on your little joint, man. You got to put on your little orange garment like the Hindus be wearing when they start getting off into some deep type meditations and all that type of stuff, man. You got to get into it. So same as the Hebrew, man, the more you come into Hebrew culture, which you cannot come into true Hebrew culture without coming into Torah, Yahawah, and wisdom. You cannot. And the more you come into it, the more you're gonna be like, yo, this is so fly. This is us. You know what I'm saying? This is us. You know, and it's dope, man. This is you got to get into who we are, man, and your whole spirit changes, and people look at you differently. And I want to say something too. A lot of brothers, you know, we came to the summit, but when you go to the summit, and you got a nice little garment made. Guess what? Wear that, dress like that every day. Don't just dress like a Hebrew when it's time for the summits. Make an honest effort to wear your long tunic like every day. Every day, because it's a lifestyle. It's the way we're supposed to be dressing, you know, on a regular basis, man. So when we read about this in Exodus chapter 26, verse 1, when it says, of cunning works you shall make it, that's talking about a cunning weave. The word there is a word that means weave. Mashazar, I believe it's shazar. It means to weave. So this is a woven technique, not an embroidery needlework technique, man. Don't get me started talking. As you can see, you know, we can go on and on about the fabrics and the fibers and the design techniques and the materials and how it's all woven together. We want to move on. Let's go back to, but this is what the Most High wants us to do. He wants us to have a discussion about his word, not just blah, 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 shalom. And that's why we go over the Torah throughout the week, because we bring in wisdom. We bring, even Yahawah, you read the scripture, Yahawah had a garment that was like, it was like a woven garment that was all woven with no seam. That means that they, some kind of way, they wove it into like a circle. They were weaving it into a circle. And they wove the arms and the necks. And it had no seam. There was no ending thread on it. There was nothing where they rolled it up. It had no seam. It was just a garment. All right. I don't know how they did it. I believe there's a technique you can use, but I don't know the technique. It's a difficult technique, especially doing it by hand. It's a very difficult technique. But even Yahawah had fly garments. And that's the one that they divided up after he died. The garment that didn't have a seam. That's the one that they divided up. That the soldiers wanted. Like, yo, this is a fly garment. We got to get this. Okay, go ahead. Keep reading.
Exodus chapter 26, verse 4. And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of the one curtain from the selvage and the coupling.
So from the what? From the selvage. You see that? That word selvage means the edge of the garment where you brought in that other piece of the warp. All right, the other piece of the woof or of the weft, you bring that in from the side, and that finishes the garment, right? That you bring it together. So the edges of the weft, the edges of the warp. The edges of the warp right here. Okay? And then when you weave it, you got these, you take them to the side, 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 to the side. These edges right here are called the selvage. So the edges of the edges of the warp, where you bring the woof across and the weft across, that's called the selvage. Okay? That's called the selvage, right? Okay, yeah, like if you're setting it up to weave it, this end right here would be the selvage, right? Okay. So these edges, the ones that don't come unraveled, I'm gonna show you again. And I wish we really had, man, I wish we really had like 2 cameras to really show you this thing, because it's so exciting to look at these scriptures and see what the Most High is talking about. You know, it awakens the Hebrew fly man in all of us. See that? That's the selvage right there. All right, you see this? That's the selvage. This is the selvage. Now, because like, yo, that's difficult. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the garment is being woven like this. The fabric is being woven like this. Here's the selvage on the side. But then when they hung it like this, with the selvage at the top, which means they had to weave the angels' faces into them like sideways. So if you got an upright hand, you're gonna do it, and when you put on it, it's upright. They had to weave it sideways. So when you put it upright, now there's the cherub, there's the cherub's face. So you got the smile, you got the cherub face on it, but they all sideways. So here's the feet, and here's the wings like this, and here's the face. Then they put it upright, now it's facing up. You see that? For the Most High, we were some creative people. And I haven't met no real designers that were more, actually, the most fly designs and the most fly techniques with dyeing is got to be done, in my estimation, by Asher and by Issachar and Zebulon, like hands down. Mexico and Central America, like Guatemala. Oh, and the Puna brothers and Zebulon, down in Panama, whoo, man, they got some incredible garment fabrication techniques, man. Just check it out. And then when you get down into like not the Appalachian, but into like the Andes, okay? When you get into like into like Bolivia, she's writing on stuff with that pencil. Take that from her, please. When you get into like Bolivia, and you get into like Peru, man, and the stuff they do with wool is like crazy. The stuff they do with wool is like crazy. So the Most High said the selvage, and then they had the blue loop, which is the linen thread made into like a loop, and then attached to the selvage. All right, because now when you attach to the selvage, it's gonna be a little more stronger because the selvage is the strongest part of the garment, as opposed to like this. It's, you know, sometimes you can unravel like this. Stuff can unravel, but if it's like this, and you got an edge on the side, it ain't gonna be, and they gonna probably talk about the sides too. But they're the loops. Go ahead.
Likewise shalt thou make in the uttermost edge of another curtain, in the coupling of the second. 50 loops shalt thou make in the one curtain, and 50 loops shalt thou make in the edge of the curtain that is in the coupling of the second, that the loops may take hold of one of another. And thou shalt make 50 catches of gold.
Now let's stop that real quick, man. Go to John 17:23. Let me show you y'all what kind of Messiah, what type of Savior y'all have. Let me show you about Yahawah. All right, let me show you about Yahawah and the type of garment that he had on. Go to John 19:23. So this is, we showing you the righteous fashion, the righteous, you know, textile techniques of the Bible that even today we cannot do. Even today have not been mastered. They had to create a whole new machine just to do the type of the type of weaving techniques that ancient Israel did, called a jacquard machine. All right. All right. Read John 19:23.
John 19:23. Then the soldiers, when they had crucified Yahawah, took his garments and made 4 parts, to every soldier a part.
Okay.
And also his coat. Now the coat was without seam, woven from the top throughout. They said therefore,
go ahead.
They said therefore among themselves, let us not rend it, but cast lots for it.
See that?
Whose it shall be, that the scripture might be fulfilled, which saith, they parted my raiment among them, and for my vesture they did cast lots. These things therefore the soldiers did.
So they were gambling for Yahawah's garment. They said, yo, this is fly. We don't want to rip it. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna draw straws for this. You get the 4 pieces of straws, and bam, 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 bam. You got the big one, littler one, and then the smallest one. Then they put them all top like they even. Then you grab one, you grab one, you grab one, and I grab one. Whoever got the longest one, he win the garment. That's what they did with Yahawah's garment. Because the scripture said that they were gonna part, they were gonna cast lots for his garment, his vesture. All right, and it was so flat, it didn't have no seam in it. So check that out. No seam was in his garment. So just investigate that. Just type it in. Do a research on it. Garment with no seam, and see what you find, man. See what you find. Now, if it was woven with no seam, check out that technique that they used. I didn't go into that yet, but you check that out for yourself. How did they make that garment with no seam on it? All right. But let's go back to Exodus 23. Okay. And I was gonna say, but I didn't say it. But I was suggested to say it, that it was probably some sort of a knit. Like when you have like what comes to mind, like a habergeon, which is like a coat of mail that you wear underneath your garment. Has like loops in it. And when you loop it together, almost like a high-level crochet, so you can understand. High-level crochet, but with different type, but with a thinner, but with actual thread. Man, you know how long it takes to make that thing? To knit a garment with thin thread? That takes a long time. So probably like a knit garment, had a little bit of stretch on it, was fly. You know what I'm saying, man? Man, Yahawah, yo, this is who we come from. All right, this is who you come from. This is how we dress. I mean, John had a daggone, he didn't wear camel skin, he had camel hair, which is called what? Cashmere. Called cashmere. So John had a cashmere girdle. Cashmere girdle rocking it. So they had nice stuff, man. They had nice garments, man. Israel has some nice garments, Amaria. Nice garments, man. Israel had nice, Yahawah had nice garments, nice material, everything. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 6, verse 6. Exodus chapter 26, verse 6. And thou shalt make 50 taches of gold.
Here that gold again. Yahawah loved that gold. Here that gold again. That's like the curtain hooks. Go ahead.
And couple the curtains together with the taches. And it shall be one tabernacle. And thou shalt make curtains of goat's hair.
Oh, the goat's hair. Now the goat's hair, man. I mean, erase all of this now. 42 by 6 was the curtain's size. Now the goat's hair was called mohair. M-O-H-A-I-R. Now you take that goat hair, you shave the goat, and then you got a little spindle, and you wrap it in the spindle. Then you got what they call like a distaff. I think the distaff is what you wrap it around, and then the spindle you kind of wrapping it and then dropping it down. The hair is getting longer. That's goat hair. Very, very, once again, this is very detailed work that's being done for these garments. We don't have no mohair here, I don't think. There's a cashmere sweater. Well, that's mohair. M-O-H-A-I-R. And just Google, just type in mohair socks. You know, somebody do that right now. Somebody type in mohair socks. And let's see how much a pair of mohair socks. Let's not even talk about a shirt. Let's just say mohair socks. Okay. Chris Wiggins wants the late night snack. Okay, hallelujah. yeah. Night your father's going to ash up. Kind of. Getting the spirit. Kind of. Got to dress according, getting the spirit. Kind. A man may be known by his look, his countenance, a man's attire, and excessive laughter and gait show what he is. All right, hallelujah. Good scripture, Isaiah. Quran, shalom, hallelujah. All praise to the Most High. All right, Michael Ben Israel, good to see you, hallelujah. Without seeing woven from top throughout, woven. They say woven, but it's really more like a knit. Okay, like a 3D printer. Hallelujah, Dang, that's cashmere. Yeah, man. Man. Israel. That's the flyness, man. You know, that's the fly. And this right here, man, is just an example of what the Most High had us do. But we had a whole curtain like this, man. The whole curtain was like that. Because the Most High, the type of person, the type of entity where they took the thread. See, they didn't take the fabric. Yeah, let me see some mohair socks. Got some mohair socks right here. All right, got them in peso prices. All right, if you want the mohair socks right here, mohair socks is one pair of mohair socks right here. All right, check that out. They got some for 987 pesos, which is about $50. $50 socks. So what did the Most High use for the goat hair? Read verse 7.
And thou shalt make curtains of goat hair To be a covering upon the
Hold on, let me change this to the settings. Let me change this price setting so the people can see it. Read that again.
Exodus chapter 26, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt make curtains of goat's hair. To
make curtains of goat's hair. So the curtains, you say curtains of goat's hair to be a what?
To be a covering upon the tabernacle.
To be a covering on the tabernacle. All right. To be a covering on the tabernacle. So here goes some mohair socks. Women's mohair socks. Now these joints right here are 2,000, 9,000 pesos. 2,900. So basically 3,000 pesos, which is about $180. Right, because 3 you multiply by 5, 150. If the exchange rate is like at 20, and then the exchange rate is at 19 or 20, you multiply it by 6. If it's at 5, then you multiply it by if it's at like 6, 12. If it's at 16, you multiply it by 6. If it's at 20, you multiply it by 5 or vice versa. Right, so you got 300, you got 3,000 pesos multiplied by 5, that'd be $150. All right, so that's when it's on like 1 to 20 for the exchange rate. And then if the exchange rate is like 16, you multiply it by 6. So that's when it would be like $180 for these pair of socks, mohair socks, man. And the value of this, the value of mohair, you know, it hasn't dropped over the years because it's still expensive. So mohair is expensive, but we reading about goat's hair right here. People don't even really, you know, let's say you want a simple mohair shirt. This is a simple mohair shirt. Okay. They got a mohair sweater right here for 10,000 pesos. This is a little sweater, 10,000 pesos. All right, that's about $600, $500 for a little sweater. All right, that's for a little sweater, man. It's expensive. That's the point I'm making to you, is that mohair is expensive. All right, mohair is expensive. So if you ever see me and you be like, yo, what fabric is that, Parashah? You know, and I be like, oh, this just little mohair. Give credit where credit is due. Or if I make you a little garment, I'll be like, yo, here's a little garment for you, brother. And you be like, hey, man, what kind of fabric is this you made this garment for me from, Parashah? I'll be like, oh, that's just mohair. You be like, oh, man, I must really be your man's then. So mohair, man. So the Most High told them to make curtains out of mohair. So you can't tell me that the Most High, you know what I'm saying, ain't like, didn't make us like him. Because we like to find, we think the finest stuff is if you got Louis or if you got Prada. What is the other one? Let me see your phone again. Okay, you think this is it, okay? Which is okay. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna trip, but it's okay. Okay, if you got some what am that, man? If you got some triple S's, you think that's this fly, man. I ain't gonna front. Them triple S's do look comfortable, man. Balenciagas, them triple S's look comfortable. I ain't gonna front. They look comfortable, but man, I ain't trying. These things are 13,000. They 13,000. So these ones right here, and that's like $650 for these Balenciaga triple S's, which is cheaper than you normally see them, because I normally see them like 900, 1,000. which is like 20,000 pesos. That's how much 1,000 is. So these Balenciagas, you think, oh, it's just Balenciagas. So yeah, that's fly, but fly is in that material. Fly is in that leather. Where is it coming from? How young is that calf? You know what I'm saying? How seasoned is it? How soft is it? How much do it caress your foot? You know what I'm saying? When you walk. Fly is what is the fabric, man? Where does this cotton come from? Where does the linen come from? How is it grown? How is it processed? Okay. Now go give me that garment in there with the muslin garment. The muslin is a material like a cotton with the pocket right here, the white one with the little black pocket right there. Get it on a hanger for me. Give y'all, don't. You can see, man, I like this material. I like the scriptures. I like the garments. I like the design techniques. The Most High is fly. That's all. Beyond fly. He is everything. Yahawah, he's everything. All right. He's a man of war, and he like fly stuff too. All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and So when we design our clothes and stuff, man, like, we thinking about the temple, man, and how the Most High likes stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you got the little garment right here. You got the little pouch right here, see? Got the little kangaroo pouch right there. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the little gold around it, bottom and the top, little gold. You got the gold frame around. You can't even see it on your screen because it's too shiny. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the bottom of it. Got two different types of gold trim at the bottom right there. And then, you see that right there, and then right there. And that's the front. Let me show you the back. See, the back got the little 3 stripes right there. That's the back. And then what you got? You got bam. 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 Look at that. Bam. You see that? So when you walking down the street, man, when the wind start blowing, your temple colors start blowing in the wind. See that? Well, that's how you be. See that? And I look at the bottom of it. This is the bottom of it. This is the bottom of it right there. That's the bottom of it. That's the bottom of the garment right there. See that? Got that blue, but then we got that purple. You got that purple on there too. And then you got that red on there too. See that? That's on the front side. And then bam. It's on the back side too. Check that out. It's on the back side too. I'm going to tell you, man, y'all brothers think y'all making garments, man. Y'all sisters think y'all making garments, but me and Isaiah and Bonham One about to bring that fire to Yahshua. Oh, let's check out the shoulder work. Check out the shoulder work right here. See, this is the shoulder. See, we had the 2 tabs to check out the shoulder work. Let me show you the shoulder work in the back. This is the shoulder work. All right, this is the shoulder work. Hold that for me. Hold the side right there. This is shoulder work. See that shoulder work? What you see on them shoulders right there? See that? See that? You got the fringes on the shoulder. Little fringe on the shoulder right there. No blue on it, but the blue is where it should be at the bottom. See that? That's the shoulder work, and that's the tab. Little tab on the back. Little details like that. The tab on the back is made out of this same material right here. See that? Little details on the back, man. You see that? Now I'm gonna show you this gold. Hold it over there. Now I think we made a mistake right here. Hold it up. But see, that's how we fixed the mistake. Right there, this is purple. And then over here, same thing, is the red. See that? So that's how we put like a little tab on it. Hold that. Just put like a little tab on it. See that? Right at the edge of the arm. See that? Bam. Now look at that. Come close. See that gold right there on all around the edge. See that? Look at the technique right here. See that? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. See that? Everything is done. Everything is done deliberate. You feel me? That was done deliberately. All right. So yeah, so when you look at when you read the scriptures, man, and you see these things that the Most High, how he did everything, man. The Most High got everything looking fly. This is the backside, right? And this is the front side. Now this is just one of the garments, man. This is just one of the garments, man. Here, put that back in there. There's so many garments, man. I mean, and that's why I got like maybe 4 or 5 garments I just rotate through because I like them 4 or 5 garments, man. But we've been making garments for like 20-something years. So we're about to give some garments away and sell some garments, and we can't take all that stuff, overseas with us. And take all that stuff overseas with us. Now the Gadites, what we was known for, give me that blue garment, that blue woman's garment in the closet hanging up. This is what the Gadites were known for. No other tribe was known for this except for Gad. All right. No other tribe was known for this except for Gad. I'm gonna show you something that only the Gadites were known for. And then we're gonna move into this so-called badger skin. What is that badger skin? Because I know a lot of people got questions like, yo, what is the badger skin, man? What is that talking about? We're gonna give you a couple of good theories on that badger skin, man. So now, this is what Gad was known for, though. I'm gonna show you this. This is what Gad was known for right here. So we're gonna show you this right here. This is what Gad was known for. See that? That's the bead work. That's the bead work that's on one of the garments. And of course you might see it, but oh, that's just, it's just on regular cotton. This is regular cotton. It's a tunic. It's a tunic. It's a wide tunic for a woman. So her form and her shape is covered, but it ain't about her. It's the garment. See the bead work right there, man. It's that bead work on there. The bead work right there. You see that? The bead work. There's the bead work that Israel had together. Look at this, man. It ain't real diamonds. I ain't gonna perp like it is, but I mean, look, it ain't real diamonds, but check that out. You see that? That's the bead work, man. So what do we need? And what do we need? And this is something that we designed, that we put together. So what we need Prada for? What do we need Gianni Versace for? With his little gay homosexual design, you got real hardcore Hebrew, Ephraimite, and Gadite designs going on. You see, you feel me? Designs going on. So what do we need these other Gentiles for, man? To try to make garments and stuff for us, and we're gonna go out and spend thousands and thousands of dollars for their little corny stuff because everybody else is rocking it. Well, we can do it ourselves and do it even better. We can do it better than them, man. We can do it better than them. We can do this stuff better than them, man. So yeah. So when you read about Yahawah and how he had stuff getting made, in the scriptures, man. And see, the thing about this, man, is that it's kind of like asymmetric. All right, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's kind of set funny. So this glass bead work Israel did, but guess what? It took the other nations, centuries to catch up with the bead work that we did, and we took some of that into West Africa and East Africa. The bead work before we got there, they wasn't doing it. Then when we got there, they were doing it. So in the North American, the tribe of Gad, which people call North American Indians, we were doing the bead work too. We were doing the bead work too, man. So everybody knew that that's what Gad was famous for, was the bead work. And in ancient Israel, you find a lot of pieces of the bead work, which is a very specialized technique. You had to get the glass, and then you had to get the precious stones, get the little holes in them, and then you had to like sew them on, man. It's very hard techniques, but very artistic when everything was said and done. That's the type of people we come from, man. All right, let's keep going on the scripture. Call your verse. Read verse 7 again.
Exodus chapter 26, verse 7. And thou shalt make a curtains of goat's hair.
So the goat's hair was the mohair with the $50 socks. Remember that. Mohair is $50 for a pair of socks. And it was $500 for one sweater. Not a suit, but one sweater. Read.
To be covered.
Oh, and it's the thing about mohair. Let me tell you about mohair. Mohair, which is goat's hair. Well, no. I'm sorry. That's a wool. So we're not going to get into the wool yet. Wool have some fascinating properties. Wool will cool you down in the summertime if it's the right thickness and the right weave technique. Did you know that? And wool will keep you dry. The first underwater diving suits were made out of what? Wool, because they repel the water and they kept the body dry. And when you get out the water, it dries off real quick. Check that out. Research it. Somebody that hear me research it and then send the phone up to me. Underground, diving suits, wool. Just put that in, diving suits and wool, and then check that out. All right. So now, go ahead and tell them that on the first floor to do that for me real quick. So yeah, so this is talking about mohair, wool. I mean mohair, which is goat's hair. All right. Very expensive fabric. Go ahead.
To be a covering upon the tabernacle. 11 curtains shalt thou make.
Mm-hmm.
The length of one curtain shall be 30 cubits.
So the length of one curtain was 30 cubits. How do we do what's the formula for this? 30 times 1.5. And we do 1.5 because 1.5 feet, all right, is 1 cubit, which is what? 18 inches, which is what? Which is half of a yard. So that's why we use that formula, 30 times 1.5. And that's why I told my sons, you take the 30, and the rest of all these brothers that's come into this auditorium today to hear the class, all right? You brothers in the back, I ain't forgot about y'all. So how do we do this? How do we figure out how many cubits it is, how many feet it is? We got 30. What do we do next? What do we do next? What number do I write down next? All right, 15. And what's that? That's 45 feet. 45 feet. Go ahead.
And the breadth of one curtain, 4 cubits.
So 4 cubits is going to be what? By 6 feet, right? So 45 by 6. All right, go ahead.
And the 11 curtains shall be all of one measure.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves and 6 curtains by themselves, and shalt double the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tabernacle.
Now, first of all, when we say 12, what do we think about? We got 12 what? Okay, so now we got 11 pieces of curtain, right? So now what do we do with that 11 piece of curtain? What do we do? What do we do with that last one? What did it say to do? What did it say to do? So it said double it. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you got this one, the last one, right? And then that one is going to be doubled, right? So that was together, all right? Got that? Now, what does that remind you of? Joseph, exactly. See that? So now you see how the temple actually goes into dealing with Joseph and dealing with the other tribes of Israel, all right? Because Joseph was because now, so that's with Joseph, so if Joseph is 11 and Joseph is doubled in the curtains, making it 12 curtain pieces, who's not a part of that equation and why? Who's not in that? Who's not represented in the curtains and why? Levi isn't represented. Why? Because he's the priest of the tabernacle. Give Parashah a hand. A big hand. Parashah must out there right on the top. You see that? And that's what I'm trying to tell y'all, brothers, man. You know, you need to be close to where we are physically so we can dive into this Torah together, man. Not just on Facebook and, you know, because they hear the Torah lessons every day and we get more understanding every day. So when we see the curtains actually represent all the tribes of Israel with Levi being left off because the whole temple represents Levi because that's his vocation. So now we see that Levi don't have an inheritance because Yahawah is his inheritance. The temple is his inheritance. He got a city outside of every major city of Israel that was a quarter mile around that whole city. From every wall, a quarter mile out was Levi's territory in every major city in Israel. So even with the curtains, we see that Levi is not represented the most. And that was strange when you read it. They say make 5 and make 6. Now, as you're reading it, what are you thinking to yourself? Well, that's a strange number combination. All right? Because the spirit, like, hold up. Because now your spirit tuned into numbers when you're reading the scripture. We said, well, that's an odd number combination. And then you got to the end, oh, it's double. So it's really like it's 6 plus 7. And what is it? It's 6. And then it's a 5. Now we gotta show this too. We're gonna show this. This is what the spirit just showed me. Okay. So we have 5, and then we have 6. But the 6th one is what? Is double. So it's really what? 7, right? Really 7, right? Because the 6th one is double. So what do the 7 represent again? The 7 represents wisdom. And then the 7 represents the menorah. And the 7 represents the 7 steps that Yahawah gave us, right? And we know what do the 5 represent? Huh? Right. The 5 represents the Torah. So the whole temple itself is showing you how your body will be a dwelling place of the Most High once you deal with the Torah and once you deal with wisdom. How now your body place is the temple of the Most High, because this is all about the tabernacle, a place where the Most High was going to dwell with us outside of Jerusalem, outside of Israel, in the wilderness. So that's what them curtains are representing, right? Made out of the goat's hair, right? That's the goat's hair, right? Okay. All right, let's continue reading.
Exodus chapter 26, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt make 50 loops on the edge of the one curtain that is outmost in the coupling, and 50 loops in the edge of the curtain which coupleth the second. And thou shalt make 50 taches of brass, and put the taches into the loops, and couple the tent together, that it may be one. And the remnant that remaineth of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remaineth, that shall hang over the backside of the tabernacle.
So if some left over, just flip around the back. Go ahead.
And a cubit on the one side, and a cubit on the other side of that which remaineth in the length of the curtains of the tent.
So the Most High told you what to do, and he already know that, okay, when you do it, if you do it right, you're going to have some left over. And this is what I want you to do with the leftovers. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you mix the batter, Amaria, you're going to have just enough to fill up a quarter cup and take that quarter cup and you make that one and give that one to Shakata. And then you do it the right way, and there's a quarter cup left, and you cook it and give it to Shakata, right? Like, man, my Abba really knew how to eat. He really know this recipe. He knew how much gonna be left over. And you're like, well, I didn't make none for Shakata. I gave her half of this one. Why not? Because it wasn't none left over when I made the batter. Well, you didn't make the batter the right way. See that? So you do it the right way. The Most High said, bam, now you're gonna have something extra. That's that grace and mercy from Yahawah, right? We always get that grace and mercy left over from Yahawah doing his job right. The Most High said, you did such a good job, Yahawah. I'm going to give grace and mercy to the people that's going to benefit from your sacrifice. But we cannot use that grace and mercy as an excuse to sin. We still got to keep the commandments. Right, go ahead.
It shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle on this side and on that side to cover it. And thou shalt make a covering for the tent of ram skin dyed red.
Okay.
And a covering above of badger skin. And that's verse 14.
The covering above of badger skin. Now, with this badger skin, all right, the badger skin is rendered as takash. All right. The badger skin is called takash. That's the modern Hebrew / modern Hebrew spelling of it, takash. Now, takash, when you go into what Josephus was writing, the first century historian, general, and Levite priest, what he wrote was that takash was actually a blue dyed sheepskin. So it's actually sheepskin. Once again, that's what we call that sheepskin. Everybody know it. If you got older brothers or if you yourself, that shearling, baby, that sheepskin coat with all that wool on the inside called the shearling. So the Most High like that sheepskin too. So Josephus said that it's the sheepskin. Now, other theories are that this was getting into a valuable bead work that was done with glass into the leather, like I said, like the Gadites did. Now, both are probably equally viable theories. We don't really know for sure because Jeremiah actually hid it. But I'm sure we have records out there, you know, of what it looked and how we would, how we maintain it. But the tribe of Gad, we maintain doing that type of work with stone and with glass and with stone, glass, and copper. Now, do we have any of this about the is this the old ones or is this the new ones they were talking about? Most dry suits do not provide sufficient insulation without suitable undergarments. The type of undergarment selected would depend on the water temperature type of suit. This is too much for me to read, man, to go into the class about. I need something that's quick. The moisture given off by the human body, even when not exercising and sweating will condense inside against the inside of the dry suit. It's too much to read, man. For cold water use, especially diving under ice, the user usually wear a thick undersuit and a membrane dry suit. The thickness of the undersuit, all right, so it's not really giving me what I was wanting to see about the early dry suits, though, the early diving suits, wool diving suits. Maybe we could have went into the history. Show you about some of the properties of wool. Okay, it says at the time, Navy divers wore constricting rubber dry suits over long wool underwear. When they leaked, the wool got wet and lost its warmth. Okay, so that's not what we're looking for either. Yeah, that's what we're gonna have to really get into we have to really dive into that, man. We got to really dig into that part of the history for the war. So yeah, that's the let me see, that's pretty much what we can go into today. At least $30 for a pair of legit mohair socks. Con. Hey, Shalom, Jumi. Shalom, Jumi. How you doing? I hope you're still there. Damn, one pair of socks. LL Yahawah had the temple. Yahawah had the temple forever fly. No doubt, man. Yeah, forever fly. Hallelujah. Shalom Icon again. You just put me on the car. They said Passover garment about to be fired. Okay, hallelujah. Isaiah said his Passover garment about to be fly now. Icon said I need a garment. You know, Icon, hey, they got some Icon. Yeah, I got them suits that they make down in Colombia, man, from the Sierra Madres mountains, man. Check them. The cotton that they use, man, is a very quality cotton, man, to make their garments down there, man. That's fly. They got the white suits, like the manta. Se llama como la materia que se llama manta. Esta se llama manta también. El traje como blanco que yo tenía allá se llama manta. La materia se llama manta. All right, go ahead. Let me see what else we got. All right, so you're going to try to make some. This man is on a whole other level. That's my bro. Hallelujah. So yeah, man. You know, when it comes to the let me see this. Yeah, we got this one right here. You got a little different. I don't know, maybe. Can I come up to the camera? Just a little different stuff, man. What was that right there? That's like the Lions part. You fight with another lion, so then they had to sew it up. Okay, so you got a little lion right there. Good job, though. But yeah, so I mean that's what it is, y'all. So man, it was a longer class than I expected to do. All right, but you know, dealing with wisdom and dealing with the temple, man, there's a lot of information that we can get out of there. Oh, yeah, está abajo. But it's a lot of little intricacies dealing with the garment and the materials and the fabrics of Yasharallah that Yahawah had us putting together, man. And we transfer a lot of that over to the garments that we make personally. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I have any natural dyes fabrics here. I think all of the fabrics and stuff we have, I think a lot of it is artificial. So this one is like I said, this one is one of the examples of the brocade, man. Like, look at brocade, man, and it's to think like I have a piece of brocade like in my hand. So the same technique that the Most High had us using at the temple at Jerusalem, at the tabernacle in the wilderness, I got a part of that technique in my hand. And then the same technique the Most High had us using, you know, I got that technique literally is on my back, is on my body, man. So that's, you know, that's why you got to get your own garments made, Israel. You got to start making your own stuff, man. You stop buying from these Gentiles and letting them be the ones that determine what you're going to wear and how it's going to look. Like this little joint right here, Eliezer from a Rise of a Prince Clothing had given me this for my bond, you know, with the different, little fringes on the edge right there. And got the blue right there, and the blue got some little purple inside of it too, man. They got purple and sky blue at the bottom on them fringes. All right. And let me see let me see this one. Let me see that one that Nathaniel's garment right there. That gold and black one right there. Right there. So this is like, show like just some examples, man. This is the elders joint right here. Nathaniel, Zaquan Nathaniel, the elder of Torah and law enforcement. Right. So this is the underside of it with the lining. This is the lining of it, okay? This right here is the actual, what they call like a tabard. That's the actual tabard. And this, it's kind of stiff, but it's, it's material. So that's like, now, me personally, this is a tabard, like I said, and at the bottom right here, you got the fringes at the bottom right there, the fringes and border of blue. But me personally, I would have taken this right here and just did like a strip on this black material like this. That way it wouldn't be as stiff as it is now. You know what I'm saying? But different people got different design ideas that's good for them. But the Most High, man, he wanted everything fly. Like you said, like Isaiah said, man, the Most High, he got that tabernacle forever fly. And remember the tabernacle that we're reading about. Let's go on to 2 Maccabees real quick. Let's go on to 2 Maccabees chapter 2. Let's go on to 2 Maccabees chapter 2. And give me about Jeremiah. We're gonna just jump right into it. Let's go to verse 5. Just go. All we're gonna read is verse 5. 2 Maccabees 2 and 5. Read that.
2 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 5.
And
when Jeremy came thither.
So Jeremy came to the mountain. All right, we're talking about Mount Horeb. Go ahead.
He found an hollow cave.
He found a cave, hollowed out. Go ahead.
Wherein he laid the tabernacle.
He took the tabernacle and he hid it. Read.
And the ark.
And he put the Ark of the Covenant there too.
And the altar of the incense.
And he put the altar of incense there again also. All right. So the main thing, we're going into the tabernacle. He hid the tabernacle. Now read verse 7.
Which then Jeremy perceived.
So people were following him, and he knew that people were following him. When he perceived it, read.
He blamed them, saying, As for that place
where the tabernacle is, and the Ark of the Covenant, read.
It shall be unknown until the time that Elohim gather his people again together.
Nobody's gonna know where it is until Yahawah starts to gather us from the wilderness, from the four corners, and put us in the wilderness. So we're gonna see the same tabernacle we're reading about now. We're gonna see it again in all this, in all of its flyness, Isaiah. All of the flyness, we're gonna see it. The tabernacle. We're gonna see the mohair. Right, we're gonna see the mohair. We're gonna see the expensive dyes that's making up the curtains and stuff, man. We're gonna see that linen that they use to make the curtains. All right, we're gonna see all the gold instruments. All right, we're gonna see all the gold. We're gonna see all of that. And we're like, yo, everybody gonna be like a little kid and be like, ooh, wow. Ooh. Everybody gonna be oohing and on. It's because the Most High, he fly with it, man. He fly with it, man. I can't even, man, this right here, man, like, that's why people think, well, you're reading the law. No, we talked about Yahawah and his garments. We talked about his sacrifice for our sins. We talked about the menorah, your body being a temple. See, the Torah takes you into all topics of the law. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, brothers, man. When we set up for Yahawah in the Eastern Hemisphere, man, a lot of y'all brothers need to come over there to learn and then to go out and teach our other brothers and sisters that's in that part of the world, man. They need you. I mean, we may be needed over here, but dang, I mean, how many of us over here, how many Israelites do it take to screw in a light bulb? You know what I'm saying? How many of us do it take to really spread this word over here? when you got 0 people over there. All right, so that's about it. We don't have no more questions. Shema Yasharallah, Yahawah Alahayna, wa Yahawah Akkad, wa Ahabta at Yahawah Alahayaka, Bakal Lababka, wa Bakal Napaska, wa Bakal Ma'ata. Hear, O Israel, Yahawah our power, Yahawah is one, and you shall love Yahawah your power with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. Yabarakakam Yahawah, Bashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. Now also remember, the next moon is going to be March 5th, and Passover is going to begin on April 18th to April 19th, sunset to sunset, the first day, and the last day is going to be April 24th to April 25th, sunset to sunset. So that's the new moon, that's the Passover, and the new year is going to begin when? April 4th to April 5th, sunset to sunset. All right, so Yahawah be with you. Yabarakakam Yahawah, Bashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. All right, Shalom Aleichem.